Today we're going over Letsile Tebogo from Botswana, and he's been a talk of the town for all the right or wrong reasons. I don't know. We're going to find out in just a second. I'm your host, Nick, and you're listening to Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And before we get into today's topic, don't forget to head over to trackstars.io, where we are using these 3,700 that we're trying to sell out first before we get into the main ones, so that we can support those fantasy race videos. We're developing that track and field video game and so much more. So head over to trackstars.io. You need 1.5 Solana, that's a cryptocurrency, to be able to purchase that. So let's look at the race that happened just last night, just yesterday, just recently. Afrifa beats Tebogo. Now, this was unexpected. We had an Israeli athlete be able to beat the overall favorite here, because the other athlete that was very, very quick himself, that was a 20.16, if I'm not mistaken, or 20.13 from Thailand, he was knocked out in the second round, which was unfortunate. So Afrifa did a big drop in his personal best, a big drop in his personal best, from a 20.38 down to a 1996. So he has the championship record. Both of them ran a 1996, 6/1000s of a second separated both of them. But you know what? That wasn't the talk. That congratulations to him. It was more like it was comment after comment after comment that was talking about, hey, you know what? Tebogo got what he deserved. He got humbled. This, so on and so forth. Like, it was just a bunch of things that were coming to him. And you know what I discovered with this? Not really that I discovered, but what it got exposed once again. Let's go down to his 200 real quick. Now, both of these athletes, I have to change the screen up so that you guys can see this. Both of these athletes were running in a negative 1.0 meter per second headwind. They were running into a headwind. So that performance that he did in 1999, and he was holding back, which he rightly should hold back, and it's the first round. What does he need to run some kind of record unnecessarily at that point? He was running hard, but he didn't have to go full out, right? So anybody that had a problem with him holding back in the first round, you're just smoking something, okay? Just sit down. Now, that's not the same type of performance that he had at the end. This was a much better one. He had a slight positive headwind. Now, let's just reverse this. This is a 19.8 high, 19.8 mid to even low, depending on how the wind would be, if you just simply reverse from a negative 1.0 to a positive 1.0. If you even zeroed it in, that's faster. This was a much faster performance than what we've seen him do. So I can't take that away from him right there. Another thing we got to remember, going back here, is that, guys, didn't he make the semifinals in the 100 at the World Championships? Didn't he do that? A lot of people are saying he needed to be humble. You know why a lot of athletes don't necessarily even celebrate early in the 100, even 200, is because they don't got a chance to be that much better than people. Remember Carl Lewis, he celebrated. He was called, what, arrogance personified or whatnot. You get athletes in the past that have celebrated. Yeah, sure, Michael Johnson may not have celebrated too soon in the 200 meters or anything like that. Everybody got different personalities. It's a different generation. And some people were calling it pathetic that these championships had so many people that were celebrating. Look, they're young. Let them live it. If they bring it to the adult one, this brings entertainment. It's just like when people were complaining, well, more so certain groups of people, Mazungus, were complaining about the quote owners of the NFL were complaining and banned temporarily the victory celebrations at the end when people got touchdowns, and then the views went lower, then they had to bring it back in. Yeah, you know, the black people brought some entertainment factor, and people like to see that happen at the end of the races. I think The fact that people are arguing about this is a good thing, because that brings the emotion there. And emotion sells things. And that's what is there. Now, let's look at this at another angle. Tebogo isn't like a certain someone, Sha'Carri Richardson, that has talked a lot of things and hasn't gotten a medal. Okay? He's got an international medal, and to be fair, it's at his age group. If we made a somewhat equivalent, that could be NCAA for her. But he's gotten that, and let's just put it another way. Again, he's made it to the World Championship semifinal, something that she did not do. If she was going to do it and say, you know what, all of the stuff that she did herself, last year was unfair and everything. She flopped at the Prefontaine meet that they made for her. They literally bought the athletes and said, hey, come here and show up. And then the meet this year, she flopped. She flopped in the first round of the 100. And then the 200 is not her best event. 200 is not Tebogo's best event. Because right here, you see here, he was able to hold back and still win. He celebrated. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So when we see these athletes out there, whether it's Tebogo, whether it's Yemi Mary John, whether it's the other athletes, they want to, or the athlete from South Africa also in the 400. They want to be able to enjoy themselves. Let them enjoy themselves. Let them do that. But this kind of tells me a lot, especially for Tebogo. He was facing most of the heat. When you do great, the people around you will smile and force a smile to you. They'll force a smile. They'll be praying for your downfall. And then they'll celebrate when you fail. This is just another instance of people celebrating when the guy fails. What exactly is messed up about him celebrating early? Because he has the ability to be faster than the other athletes. First, let's ask ourselves that question. What inherently is messed up about that? Are you saying that he's arrogant? Okay, he won the 100. So therefore, arrogant is not what he is. Arrogant doesn't have a follow-up to it. That's confidence, right? At least that's the way I'm looking at it. Let's look at his honors real quick. Because last year, if I recall, oh, wait a minute. Yes, he got silver also in the 200 this year and last year. So 200 isn't his best event, but he won last year. So he's a repeat champion at the U20 level. We'll see how he transitions to the senior stage at this point. He's done pretty well for himself, if I can say right now. So as he's getting older, it looks like he's doing better and better. His times have improved from last year to this year. And if anybody wants to say anything about altitude, well, Kenya was way more altitude than Cali, Colombia, 3,000 plus meters above sea level compared to 1,000. So he had more altitude advantage last year, and he's running faster now. So in your life, in our lives, when you're doing great, there are going to be people right next to you, quite literally right next to you, that will be hoping and praying that you fail. It's not like he pulled a Richardson. It's not like he pulled an Ingebrigtsen, where he talked about his opponent and said, yeah, what's his face knew that he wasn't going to win. It was me that messed up. Because that's like an unnecessary comment for getting second place. And then you say, yeah, what's his name? Yeah, he can't beat me. It's that I defeated myself. You could have said, I defeated myself. Congratulations to the winner. Without having to demean the other person at the same time. But hey, you know what? Like I said, it adds to the sport. People got even more angry with him. So there you go. But he didn't pull one of those cards. He just came here, celebrated. And what's wrong with that? So at the end of the day, that's where I stand on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with him celebrating. Matter of fact, I hope he does it even more to make these people even more angry. I hope that he gets a chance in the future to win at one of these sprint events, whether the one or the two or both. Be able to celebrate way, way too early compared to that. The only thing I would say is I wish they would run all the way through. I do have a problem. That's the problem that I have with it. Like, hey, run all the way through so I can see what time that would have been. But hey, you can't control them. And so, in general, I'm not going to be having a problem and say, well, I wish they would lose because they celebrate too early. No. The only thing I'll be having a problem with is that they didn't go all the way through the line. Hey, it's at the championship. I feel it. I understand. You want to celebrate. It's a once in a lifetime thing for many people. He may never get this type of chance to do it in the future. He may never get that type of chance to do it. So why not be able to live it up while you can? What do you guys think in the comment section? Have you guys experienced something like that in your life, whether it's your friends, in quotes, family, or anything like that? Because we'll have a video on this topic in the future. But there are people that will be close to you, people that vaguely know about you. You do well, and then they'll be praying for your downfall. And at the very moment that you fail, they'll try to set up things in the background as much as possible by giving you bad advice. It's a lot of people that do that. A lot of older women do that to younger women. They give them bad advice. Some of the old men, super old men, wrinkled up and everything, would just say, "Well, no, you shouldn't be doing that." They'll be just trying to send off the young folk. They give them bad advice. They're hating on them because they failed themselves. They don't want to see you do great. So guys, remember, you have to do great. And at this point, you got to assume that most of the people around you will want to see you fail. And if they don't do it to your face and celebrate, like these people, they're on the internet. I'm sure they would not go up to Tebogo in his face and say it. They might tweet him. They might say this other thing, but they won't go up to his face and say it. So the people around you won't say it in your face. If they do, man, I guess you got to give them some props for it. But they'll smile at you and then be glad that you fail. But anyway, let's enjoy the rest of today's U20 Championships as the second to last day is going down. And I am excited for that. This is Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances, and in this case, otherwise. They're the head and shoulders above the rest. Peace and much love, everybody.